How's everyone doing? I recently went to Best Buy for my very first upgrade and save. And I went there twice. I'll be honest, this was my very first time doing an upgrade and save, and I was a little bit disappointed, honestly. Best Buy really didn't have a lot of titles to choose from. Their selection wasn't that great. It was mostly just newer titles, barely any catalog titles. I remember I was preparing for it. I went to bestbuy.com and I looked up probably over 50 titles of movies that I was interested in on Blu-ray, and I was just surprised that none of them they had in the store. They're all unavailable, or you can't get them in the store. You can only order them online. And actually, somebody was saying there's a rumor out there that Best Buy might discontinue selling movies in the store, which would be a big disappointment. I know Best Buy supposedly isn't doing well. That would be a shame if they went under. There's really no other electronic place out there. The Wiz went under years ago. Circuit City went under years ago. And it's kind of disappointed. So I found a couple though, and I will say I think the upgrade and save is a great idea. $5 for any DVD, and that'll either $5 will go towards any Blu-ray $9.99 and up, and you can only do one towards each Blu-ray, so you can't stack them up. But it's a pretty good idea. Get people in the door, and you're getting $5 value for any DVD, even if it's scratched up or anything like that, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, it has to have the case and everything. But I mean, $5 for a DVD these days is actually a really good deal value-wise. I have tons of DVDs, and people hassle me for $2. I'm like, $2 isn't that bad. They're like, how about $1? I'm like, how about you get lost? But I mean, so you get people in the door, and they're spending money as well. You get that $5. They're at least spending $5. If it's $9.99. It'll drop down to $4.99, so you're at least spending money right there. And the markup value on Blu-rays is through the roof, so they're going to make money. But I ended up going twice because the first time I kind of just was disappointed. And then I was like, you know what, I got to get some more out of this before it's done. And I'll go ahead and show you what I got here. Most of these are blind buys, so if you've seen these movies, definitely let me know what you think of them, because I've only seen, I think, 2 of them out of the ones that I got. I ended up getting a total of 6 titles right there. I got 3 the first time and then came back and got 3 more. You can only do it 5 at a time each time you go there. You can only go in there with 5 DVDs. And they've been having these upgrade and saves pretty frequently. I think this is the 3rd time this year. I think they just started last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm kind of late to the show on this, but I'll go ahead and show you the 2 that I have seen. First up is American Mary right here. I think this is a pretty good kind of low-budget movie from the Soska sisters. Very visually stunning. I will say the editing needed to have been a little bit better here. That's my one major criticism about this movie, is the editing. I also didn't think the transitions worked as well. There's little things here and there. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but I thought it was very visually stunning. I love the lead actress in here. I thought she did a fantastic job. It's basically about a girl who's going to medical school, and she she doesn't have the money to pay her bills, pay for, tuition and things like that. And so she ends up becoming a surgeon, essentially, for a strip club. She goes to the strip club, and they've said, this guy needs to be kept alive for a little bit longer. So she performs some surgery on him and to keep him alive. And so it goes from there, and she gets more involved into kind of a deeper, darker kind of society, and it's all kinds of craziness. And some interesting characters in here, some creepiness going on to it, some interesting alternative piercings and different kinds of things like that going on. And she's performing all these different surgeries and crazy things like that. And there's some, some dark imagery, and the one guy who's the owner of the strip club has these kinds of visions of her, which are pretty crazy. And she played that role just so convincingly. There's a lot of things that kind of bother me with this movie as well. There's certain things I'm like, she went from this to that so quickly, and certain things that happen are just kind of like, really? Come on. And again, the editing and transitions, just things like that kind of. And there's a character that I'm like, okay, I want to know exactly what happened. Don't just kind of leave it there ambiguously, especially given certain things. And the ending too, I didn't love the ending. But still, overall, it was something I did enjoy as a whole, especially kind of a new vision as well. I can't wait to see more from the Soska sisters. I thought this is a pretty good film from the Soska sisters, who also did Dead Hooker in a Trunk, Jen and Sylvia Soska, and they're actually going to be directing See No Evil 2, which is kind of surprised to get a sequel for that. I did like See No Evil with Kane, the first one. I thought it was pretty good. And also they're working on ABCs of Death 2. They're going to do one of the shorts there, which so happy that is getting a sequel. I actually really enjoyed that. The Alphabet Anthology movie. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of it, but I definitely am. I think it's great that they're doing a sequel. A lot of directors can get some more exposure as well, and I definitely can't wait to see what they do with it. And again, I think this is definitely a movie that is underrated, and people should give it a chance. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely worth checking out. This is A Frankenstein for the 21st Century. It's pretty good, pretty good. And the lead actress is Katharine Isabelle. She was fantastic in the lead role here. Can't wait to actually check out the special features here. Commentary. Can't wait to check that out from the Soska sisters, Jen and Sylvia, and then Katharine Isabelle, the lead actress, and Tristan Risk. So, very cool. I've seen the movie, but now I want to check it out with the commentary. And this was $12.99, so I ended up getting it for $7.99 after the deal. $5 off, obviously. And next up is The Possession, which was, it says $22.99, but I was actually able to get it for $12.99 because Amazon had it for $12.99. So then with the $5 off, it was $7.99, which I'm pretty happy about. None of them had slipcovers though, and their horror selection was super thin. Barely any horror titles out there, which is disappointing. But I did like this movie. There's a scene in here that was just so creepy. Classic horror scene. But the rest of the movie didn't really live up to that. But there's a part where they're at the yard sale and the little girl looks back and she sees something in the window. I thought that was incredibly creepy. But I did like this movie. It did have great atmosphere, some creepy imagery. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan was the father in here. I really like him as an actor. I loved him in Watchmen as the comedian. And they have the Hasidic rapper in here, Modest Yahoo. It was cool to see him in here. I thought he did a good job. It's basically a possession movie. It's, you know, one of the better possession movies of recent times, I'd say. Very happy with that. And I really wish this did have a slipcover, because knowing that there are slipcovers out there for this, it just feels like it's naked and it's incomplete. You know, don't look at it. It's naked. Come on. It says based on true story. You know, obviously there's a lot of, you know, exaggerations and things like that. But, you know, it's just kind of like a marketing ploy usually when they say that. But I do want to find the slipcover. I might do a slippity-doo-dah if I can, if I ever see one with a slipcover, because all the ones that they had there didn't have the slipcover. So maybe I'll go to another store and see if they have it instead, and say, you know, I got this and didn't come with the slipcover, hook it up. It's not really the slippity-doo-dah. It's like really what happened, exactly what happened. So, and the rest of these are blind buys right there. So let me know if you've seen them, or the ones that I have seen as well. Dread right here, which was $12.99, it says $22.99, so it's actually $12.99, and then with the $5 off, it was $7.99, so I can't complain about that. I haven't seen it yet, I've heard good things, and it's the Blu-Ray 3D, so it's Blu-Ray, 3D, Blu-Ray, digital copy, ultraviolet, everything essentially. So yeah, it's both standard and 3D versions on one disc, but pretty cool, and nice slipcover. Carl Urban is the lead actor in here. I guess in this one it's the female drug kingpin, and they go in that big tower and they have to fight through. Kind of reminds me of Raid Redemption from what I've seen with the trailers. They have to fight through all the different like levels and get to the top level to fight the boss kind of thing. Raid Redemption was amazing, by the way. If this is anything like that as far as the... this is obviously, it has guns. It's not, you know, martial arts and stuff like that. So it looks like a lot of action, and I like the first Judge Dredd movie. I don't know how much similarity there's going to be there. And next up is Stitches right here, which I have heard good things about. This was $9.99, and with the $5 off, $4.99 obviously, so can't complain there. It looks creepy. Clowns never really freaked me out. Yeah, I guess the clown dies accidentally at a party, and he comes back and haunts the people that were involved. So, next up is Would You Rather. Haven't really heard anything about this one, but harrowing, bloody, will give you nightmares, says Rex Reed from New York Observer. But Rex Reed has been in the news for all the wrong reasons for reviews. But Jeffrey Combs, really enjoy him as an actor, especially in the Stuart Gordon films. You know, Reanimator, everything like that. From Beyond was always my favorite Stuart Gordon film, and it's great that From Beyond is finally getting some exposure now that Scream Factory has released it. So that's awesome, and it's good to see him in another movie. And I see a recognizable face, Crabman right there from My Name is Earl. So that's pretty cool to see him in here. And Brittany Snow and Sasha Grey, who is a porn star who's now doing, you know, mainstream movies. She was in Steven Soderbergh's The Girlfriend Experience, and she's also in Entourage. She's been in a few things. But I'm not big into watching porn these days. When I was younger, sure. But these days I'm not. But I have seen some Sasha Grey work, and I will say she's talented. I'll say that. So I'm kind of interested in checking this one out. It kind of looks like a Truth or Dare, but with bloody consequences, I guess. Keep telling yourself it's just a game. I didn't really read the synopsis, just kind of one of the few horror titles there that I haven't seen. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. It's IFC Midnight. Why not? So, there you go. And again, you know, $12.99 right there, $5 off, $7.99. So, these were all really inexpensive. The only one that was expensive, or semi-expensive, was this next one right here. Last but not least is Mud. Right there, it's $17.99, of course with the $5 off, $12.99, and it's directed by Jeff Nichols, who, you know, him and Michael Shannon have done a lot of things together. They work together in Take Shelter, and they also work together in the Shotgun Stories as well, and he's in here also. I actually didn't realize that he was in here, but I figured, you know, Jeff Nichols and him have worked together, and then I heard somebody else say that who's actually in here, because it doesn't say Michael Shannon on the front cover. Matthew McConaughey, Ty Sheridan, Sam Shepard, and Reese Witherspoon. Pretty good cast right there, and Matthew McConaughey is coming up as far as acting-wise. I really liked him in Killer Joe. He's in a few different things that are like Dazed and Confused, of course. Classic in that, Time to Kill, Frailty, and I've heard good things about this one. A newly minted American classic. Right there on the front cover, somebody says, and certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm not a fan of when they have that in movies. That's unnecessary. I'm not a fan of RottenTomatoes.com at all. Not a fan of that as a rating site. IMDb is my favorite rating site. So yeah, I don't really agree with their ratings usually. But nice slipcover. Heard great things. Have no idea what it's about. Looks kind of like a crime thriller. Looks gritty, and like the actors. Heard a lot of good things. Decided to give it a shot. Blind buy purchase. So there you go. There's my first upgrade and save from Best Buy. And there were my 6 titles. And if you've seen any of them, definitely let me know what you think of them. And let me know if you picked up anything at the recent Best Buy upgrade and save as well. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.